Hi everyone, Angelina, Sparkling Diva, and another pick a card reading. And I'm showing you the cards like this. I hope I can keep the camera still. Anyhow, the reading is on what are your keys, or what is your key to happiness and joy. So we're going to look at how you can get there, what's blocking you, whatever comes up with the cards. And we have three choices. Number one is the yellow calcite. Number two is the ocean jasper heart. Number three is the carnelian heart. So you can either use the cards or the crystal or both to feel which set is for you. So take your time, pause the video if need be. I'm going to get on with it. Right, numbers one. Your first card, we have a look in the mirror. I was actually thinking of telling you from which deck, but this deck, the Cosmic Dancer Oracle, in case you want to know, because I always forget to put it in the description. But this is your first card from that deck, and we have look in the mirror, and the message of this card is, well, basically, literally and figuratively, do that, because if the circumstances you're in, situation you're in at the moment, doesn't really fulfill you, doesn't make you happy, doesn't bring you joy, isn't really like, if you're honest, the way you want it to be, then it's good to know without any blame or guilt or judgment that you have created that one way or another, and that can go back a year to childhood. Usually it has to do with patterns of our own behavior and thinking and how we feel, and then from these things we basically live and do and act, and then from there you create your own reality, and that means that you can also change it if you were the one who actually created it, which is much to do with law of attraction. You can also change it, but then you have to look in the mirror to get clear how you actually created it to begin with. And again, no blame, no guilt, because it has nothing to do with it whatsoever. And if you would slip into blame and guilt and judging yourself and so on and so forth, that actually lowers your vibration tremendously, and it doesn't do you any good at all, right? And if you presently cannot really see how, or that even, you created this external condition yourself, then just know that it is your own unconscious and subconscious beliefs and habits and traits that are projected outwards to create your life experience. That's why you have to sometimes dig deep. Not always. Sometimes it's like, oh gosh, yes, I know, right? But sometimes it's not so clear. And then just take your time, sit with it, and and be neutral about it. No blame, and look at how you do that. Why? Where does it come from? When did that start? So it can be quite a deep process for some of you. It doesn't have to be. It depends, right? And you can also look in the mirror, literally in a mirror, and start telling yourself that literally, like, right, I love you. You can also say your name with that. And for many people, it's very awkward to look at themselves in a mirror, not to just fleetingly do your makeup, do your hair, or shave, or whatever, if you're a man, right? But really look in the mirror with for the purpose of looking at yourself, at your essence. Look in your eyes. What do you see? And even if that's awkward, if you can build that up, right? Go from a couple of seconds and try to build it up until you can just hold it and look at yourself. And it's such a wonderful thing to do. I've done that myself regularly. I still do that. I have quite a lot of mirrors from the kitchen, in the hallway, in the toilet, etc. So I walk past mirrors quite a lot, and I sometimes do stop in front of a mirror, look at myself, look myself in the eyes, and smile and tell myself, I love you. And that is so important, because if you don't love yourself, how can other people? If you don't even, right? And if you can't even look yourself in the eyes, how is another person supposed to be able to look at you and feel good? So it's really very important. Sorry to get so lengthy, but so this is for you really good. If you are not in a situation that doesn't make you happy, doesn't bring you joy, if you can change this, if you can look at this, all the stuff that I just told you, and do that and change that around, then you can get to happiness. Then you find the key to your happiness, to changing that. We're going to look at other cards now. Right, your animal, Archangel animal cards. We have Grey Squirrel and we have Parrot for you. And the Grey Squirrel tells you that you should find new ways of solving problems, that there are solutions to problems, but it might require you to look at things from a different perspective, a different angle. And and you might have to be think out of the box, be ingenious, also persevere and explore the possibilities. And there are solutions, whatever isn't working out, whatever is difficult, whatever is an obstacle, there are solutions, which includes to your own key to happiness, finding that in relationship with the other card that we just had, with your own ways of behaving, acting, limiting beliefs, habits that don't really serve you well, and then create a situation that doesn't really make you very happy, right? You can also change that, but you might have to look at things from a different perspective. And then you will also have to persevere, which is logical, because habits and limiting beliefs, well, it's not like you change that within a week, right? You have to keep at it. Otherwise, you are not changing it either. So you have to keep at it, not give up, not think like it's not going to work. No, you have to just continue, believe in it, persevere, and have fun as well. This is also, the Grey Squirrel is also about expanding your lower limitations. Again, limitations, limiting beliefs, etc. It's time to have fun. And to be curious, especially be curious about what's possible, and begin or learn to enjoy the new potential that you are allowing to flow into your life if you start changing, if you start doing this, if you start entering this process. Because these grey squirrels, we do not have them in the Netherlands, I don't believe. I have never seen them here. I only know the red squirrel, and I was actually quite surprised when I was on my way to Wales years ago and we stopped in Chester and to just look around there, and walking around we saw an awful lot of grey squirrels. I had never seen them. But these animals, they're not afraid. Right, they were quite used to people, I suppose, in that park, and the way they move and how far they can jump, it's as if they fly. So it's for you also time to fly and to have fun and to be playful and to just enjoy that process. And Parrot is telling you, I'll turn it around, hopefully it's gonna focus on that. I think so. Listen intently to understand. Well, we all know that parrots can be experts, or actually are experts at mimicking voices and sounds and things. And the way they do that is by listening, right? And then they can try to imitate and well, not try, they actually succeed at it, don't they? It's a talent to listen, and it's one you should cultivate as well. And listen with your heart and soul in order to understand what people are really saying. And maybe that goes right back to the situation that you're in that isn't making you happy, it doesn't feel joyful, that we discussed here. I have it upside down. Well, it's a mirrored image, so it doesn't really matter all that much, but okay. Anyhow, if maybe you have a tendency to make assumptions, to jump to conclusions about what people will think, say, believe about you or a situation or whatever, your life maybe even, right? Don't do that. It's just that often has to do with a lack of self-esteem if you do that, and it becomes a habit, it becomes a routine. So again, if you recognize that, it's very good to focus on that and to not do that anymore. And that's difficult. I know from experience, because I've been there too. It's difficult. So do you often, if you think about it, fill in for other people? Do you jump to conclusions? Do you take things personally based on what you are thinking, believing that they are thinking? That's a trap. That's a real trap, right? And so you can remedy that for a big part if you actually start listening. What are people really saying? And you have to open your heart for that. So you get out of your head and your beliefs, etc., and open your heart and really listen. Is it actually true what you were believing, right? And in most cases, it's not. Anyhow, that, and also, again, the message that to enjoy being here and living life and everything, and because parrots also learn what they can when they're in a physical body here on Earth. So that is also your message, to get the most out of it in a way. Joyful things, of course, when you're here on Earth in a physical body. All the opportunities, all the things you can do is really quite a miracle, right? So that is your message, that is your way, your key to finding happiness, to do all these things. Now, your last two cards, I'm getting too lengthy, and then I'm quickly moving on. We have, I'm turning it around to get rid of the glare. This is about what you're doing that doesn't work. Well, we actually already addressed that, but confirmation is always good. You might maybe slip into this energy. This is the mother card, and then the light attributes and the shadow attributes. Smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt, again guilt, in children for becoming independent. Now, maybe you're not a mother, but maybe you're doing that to yourself. Or maybe you tend to have a bit of a smothering energy on other people, overbearing, because you're holding on, maybe out of fear or whatever. You know, there can be so many reasons why people end up doing that. that's not good. No one likes that. It doesn't feel pleasant. If someone else, just think about that. If you recognize it, right? If someone else was like that to you, it just like, let me go. It's not pleasant unless you are very, very, very insecure. But it's just not pleasant. But I do think it is more that you maybe do this stuff to yourself. Maybe you have a fear of becoming independent. Maybe that's an inner child fear. Maybe you were smothered as a child and not allowed to explore and do things, and maybe you just fall from your bike and hurt your knee, and whatever. It's just examples. So maybe that happened to you, or you had that experience with partners, or so it could be like that as well. I can't fill that in because it's not a personal reading. So you have to think about that yourself if you do not automatically recognize it. And if you don't recognize it at all, just leave it. Because I do not want to put things in your head that aren't there, right? That's not the point. And then we go to the shadow attribute of the saboteur. Well, actually, this is also not really positive, I don't think, because, well, it's a saboteur card. Induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Well, I think that goes right back to the look in the mirror card. With that spoke of limiting beliefs, habits that do not serve you, don't do you good. Actually, I'm inclined to go for this, that, or at least you can go there, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring in your life. I think this is actually the most important message, because this is, if you're not aware of it, right, then it's in the dark, it's a shadow, but the point is to shed light on it, and then you become aware of it, that there actually is maybe a fear of becoming empowered, because then you're responsible and the changes that would bring in your life, and what's gonna happen then, and oh my god, and whatever. And so I feel that this is actually more important, that at least here you are aware of it because the light is on it. So this is what can help you to get into a situation of happiness and joy. And now this might all sound quite heavy and serious, and maybe for you it's not so heavy at all. Maybe it's much lighter and you just have these mild tendencies of all the stuff that I've been talking about. That is possible. There are variations, right? But this is your key to happiness, to look in the mirror, to look in yourself in the eyes, literally and figuratively, and find out what your limiting beliefs, habits, etc., are, and then work with that. Listen from the heart, have fun, and expand your horizons like the he took a rest, the grey squirrel. Fly, have fun, be playful, all that stuff. So this is the message for you. Thank you for watching. I hope it is helpful, and I'll see you again soon. Number 2, your cards from the Archangel Animal Oracle. We have Rabbit. Recognize your significance. And Rats, be true to yourself and the universe will reward you. Now, with Rabbit is also related to music, sound, sonics, sounds, and that's part of Rabbit's, energetic 5D task, basically, to bring more harmonic alignment and love, etc., on the planet, and that happens with sound, and they have a sound themselves, right? We don't hear that, but they do have a specific sound by which they spread this harmony and light, etc., just a little bit of a background story, because this is quite a really um, beautiful, higher, important energy and task, right? And that is also part of your task and thing, to spread that light, to be pure and light and loving. And maybe that's why I was also telling you about these sounds and things. Maybe you do something with sound or music. Maybe you sing. Maybe you make music. That can be playing a flute or piano or whatever. It can be anything, right? It can be being in a band. Because a band, if they have a gig, they spread joy and love, and they make people happy. But the message of Rabbit is also knowing that your efforts do matter, right? And because maybe you feel that your efforts are insignificant in all this vastness and of the universe and our planet alone. And but then, yeah, that goes back to recognize your significance. You do matter, right? And that might actually touch you on various levels, hearing that. You are enough, you are important, and you do matter. Even though you might not see it yourself. And also, what you do matters, what you exude matters, what you do matters, even though you may not see it or may think that's not the case. Right? And for some people it goes like that. They're more like, some people is like they're in the limelight, and other people is like they work behind the screens or something. But if they don't do the work behind the screens, then the one on stage, on the front stage, center stage, can't do their thing either. So it's all part of the big same thing, right? And maybe you are one of these people who are more behind the screens kind of thing. Maybe the work you do, or what you exude, or who you are as a person. But then it still matters. You still contribute to the whole. And with rats, we have be true to yourself, and the universe will reward you. The thing with rats, and I'm going to tell you that briefly, because usually with rats, I think many people, that's another assumption of mine, is like, rat. But rats have such a beautiful reason for being here. They have very big hearts, and all animals have a reason for incarnating on the planet, right? Rats are incredibly clever, resilient, strong. But the reason they come here is to basically transform the garbage, the mess, the rubbish that we create. And that's both literally and figuratively. So also energetically. They clean that, they take care of that. The only problem is that at some point we humans started producing so much garbage, whether physical or not, that they could no longer transmute all of that stuff, right? It was just too much. And they got overloaded because of that. And then they started to become sort of unhealthy in a way for us, right? Because they started spreading diseases. And then things turned round, and then we started fighting, and rats killing rats, and they have become a pest and a plague and all that stuff. And because of all that, rats now live in fear, and now they can no longer transform and purify our garbage into love. So that's basically the story behind rat. That's quite something. I was actually quite shocked when I read it. Like, oh my god, I had no idea. But it's like some people have rat pets, and then they are very loved and cared for, and mostly then the owner is totally in love, right, with their pet. Um, these rats are not so stressed. They are calmer. And just rats are just very clever. They're incredibly clever. So and these rats, they hold the true vision for the original mission of rats. So these pets are also important. Anyhow, the red card, the message of that, and I just told you again all this stuff because that might relate to you as well in some form or other, but also because often we have a very negative connotation with rats. And if you then get that card, you might think like, ugh. Right? I don't want you to feel that way when you get the message of this card. And the message is that to know that even when you are acting with the best and noblest intentions, that you may still be misunderstood. And in extremer cases, maybe even seriously judged or rejected out, thrown out of a group or whatever. That's just because there is always other people that want to put out the light in others, because they have lower self-esteem. It's too confronting for them because then they realize that they don't have that, they haven't got that, they haven't reached anything, manifested anything, whatever. Right? It can put people in fear. And also judgment or envy can be anything, but a lot of people can have a knee-jerk reactions to someone else's highlight. Just so remember that. And then the message, of course, also not allowing other people to diminish you and to dim your light. Instead, remain true to your pure purpose and hold your vision like a bright flame. Don't let go of your vision, of your purpose, of your dreams, whatever these may be. Don't let other people diminish you, right? So that does relate to the first message that I gave you. Like the rats in general are also being persecuted, basically, right? Hunted and all that stuff, regarded as a pest, and people fear them and so on. But the pet rats, for them it's different. They hold the vision, and you got to be like that. Okay, let's move to your this card. Come back to center. I like this card, actually. Really do. The image is beautiful. If you have a problem with your vision, your purpose, or you have come across people that try to dim your light and to diminish you, then it can really be very helpful and often really needed to come back to center, to your own center, where you can get aligned again, where you can become harmonized again and connected with your vision, with you, with yourself, but also with your vision, your dreams, your goals, without any of the distractions from other people, including the ones that want to maybe dim your light. So that is a very important thing to do. And it can also help if someone, maybe no one has been trying to dim your light, but you just sort of feel that you kind of lost touch with your dreams and your inspiration and your goals, etc., etc. It then also is very helpful to come back to your own center and to just rest there, recuperate, recharge the battery, and then once that has happened, you can find the connection again, right? You feel more rested, you are aligned again, and it's really, really very helpful to regularly do this. You can visualize yourself in a womb. If you find that difficult because maybe you have a difficult relationship with your mother and you get all this stuff come up right away, then don't go there, right? But you can maybe a dark cave, but it's warm, right? It's not creepy, cold, dank cave. No, a nice, warm, safe place, and there is a bed, maybe. It's got like a mattress of beautiful green moss, and you can lay down on it. Or maybe if the womb does work for you, you can also visualize the womb of Mother Earth. You close your eyes, you sit, you relax, and you make your grounding into the earth. And then from your grounding, you see, when you go down and down into the earth, you see like a hollow. And you can get in there. And it's inviting, it's welcoming, it's warm. And then go in there. That's the womb of Mother Earth. And you can, whatever you feel, happens that is helpful to you, you can maybe lay down, or maybe you float. It's warm, and you feel the pulse of Mother Earth, and it's so soothing, calming, and it helps you to recuperate and stay there in that space for a while. And then you come back, and you open your eyes, and you're back in your chair, and do that regularly. If this is basically the key to your happiness and your joy, doing this regularly. And moving on, if you need more space, so we got in there quite a bit. If you need more time, then just pause. I'm going on. Right, your last two cards. We have the bully and the hero or heroine. And these cards from this deck always have a light and a shadow attribute. I'm starting with that card. Funny thing here, what I feel here is that it can be, actually with both cards, it can be one or two things. Either you are trying to make yourself look bigger or get validation, then in that sense, right? With things that isn't really you, that doesn't really serve you, doesn't make you happy, doesn't match your dreams, then it's important to do this. And so you do get in touch again with your true dreams and goals and purpose, etc. So don't use something else to feel important, because we saw with the rabbit and the rat both, I think, that you might feel undervalued by other people, or they try to dim your light, and then you might have some sort of knee-jerk reaction. Try to make yourself bigger than you are in a way by and using something else that might indeed impress people, right? But that isn't really you. That isn't really part of your purpose or your dream in life. Don't do that, because then you sell yourself short and you actually lower your energy if you do that. So don't do that. And just have passion for your journey of personal empowerment. Even if other people don't seem to validate it or recognize it or try maybe to dim it, whatever, it doesn't matter. And to not give a rip about that, it's important that you are in your center, right? And then this is important, and for your happiness, your joy in life. And here I actually felt this making yourself bigger, especially from this face, right? With these cheeks. Maybe this is something you resonate with, that you've experienced verbal or physical abuse, and that you fear that. And that's basically, let me give you the other thing, right? Because I said one of two things. The other thing is that maybe you are afraid of being seen. So you then dim your own light because you are afraid of standing out and being tall and shining your light, and oh my God, what's going to happen then? And I will get judgment and criticism. And you then make yourself smaller yourself. And then you can also, out of reaction of that fear, make yourself big with something else that you actually do not really want to manifest. But then there's not so much fear associated with that. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If you use something else to present yourself in the outside world with, that you actually don't really care about at all, then that's much easier. We feel far more vulnerable if we present ourselves with that what actually really matters to us. Then we feel vulnerable if we lack self-esteem and confidence, etc. So then it's again important to go back to center. There is your strength, right? Hope that makes sense. And I'm not going to add anything to it anymore, actually. I'm not going to read the messages on the card. You can do that yourself if you feel like it. But I'm not going to do that because I think it will actually not add anything anymore to the message. I think it will take away from the message. But feel free to read it yourself. So this is your way to this is your key to happiness and joy in life, right? Regularly go back to center. If you feel like, oh my God, I feel kind of lost, I'm going around in circles, or if you get criticism, blah, 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 go back to center, go in the womb, do that visualization if need be. It's so good. It's so soothing to go there, to go in that womb or in that dark, warm cave or whatever it works for you. And that will help you to get through any difficult situation. And just remember, you matter. You do matter. What you do matters. You yourself, even if you don't do anything, you still matter. And believing that, coming to believe that, is also part of your road to happiness and joy in life. I hope that resonates and is helpful, and thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye. All right, number 3. I hope the light is still enough. Think so, but it's going fast. Anyhow, for you, your first 2 cards we have from the Archangel Animal Oracle Bee and Panda. And as you can see with these wonderful colors, the yellows and the orange and the golden yellow and all that stuff, is very high vibrating energy. And both the bee and the panda come from the Pleiades originally. That's where they originate from, right? And then incarnate here on Earth to do their service work. And both have a lot to do because of the Pleiades. I think in English you pronounce that differently, but whatever. It has a lot to do with healing, heart healing. It's I think mostly blue energy, a specific blue. And so yeah, that being in the heart. And if need be, if that will be different for all of you, some may still need that, others not so much, the heart healing is important and can be an important key for you to get to happiness, more happiness and joy in your life. You will know yourself if that's the case for you. Maybe your heart energy is perfectly fine. Then it's the message important also to work with that, right? And to expand on that and all these things. And the bee especially, which is beautiful for this reading, the bee reminds you that everything, to do everything you do with joy. And when you do what you want to do, what makes you feel good with joy and with your heart open, you bring about true change. It's an alchemical change. And that happens in both you and the receiver or receivers. So it's really beautiful. And in a way you then spread oneness, right? You spread a very high vibration of joy, and it's absolutely beautiful if you do that. And it's also related, the bee, to sacred geometry. That's why you have the flower of life here. And if you vibe with that, with sacred geometry, not necessarily the flower of life, of course, you can use that in your home around you as well. Maybe Metatron's cube or pyramids or flower of life, whatever. All these things are sacred geometry and have a very strong energy to work with. So if you resonate with that, if that appeals to you, you can also apply that at home. And as for the rest with the bee, it's important that your actions are purposeful and that you allow the higher purpose to work through you and guide you, because then you really spread that. Right? You touch other people, and by touching other people, you also get that back into your own heart, and it also then raises your own energy. It's absolutely beautiful. Plus, if you do that, then your life flows easy. And then also the highest good will also always unfold for you. So it's beautiful, beautiful energy. I always love seeing the bee card. I like bees as well. If I have them in my garden, if I'm set outdoors, I'm not afraid of bees. Okay, I look, I do observe them, but I'm not afraid of bees. I have more bumblebees actually than bees, but I like them. And I like them buzzing around me as well. I like the buzzing sound. And when I was younger, I didn't. It scared me. And and I wanted to just have them go. I was afraid, but I don't have that anymore. And in this card also says that the sound they make, that buzzing, humming sound, is also a way that they spread high vibration wherever they go. So that's quite beautiful as well. Anyhow, the panda is has a lot to do with balance. And the message is mostly also you balancing your inner masculine and feminine energy, and that's very important, especially at this time in on planet Earth, because we have a lot of divine feminine energy coming in, right? And it has been mostly masculine, unbalanced masculine actually, for thousands of years, and right now the balanced feminine, divine feminine is coming in, and these two need to be balanced, both in society, around the entire world, but also within ourselves, of course. Otherwise we can't have it in society either. And it also says to keep your heart pure and light, and it's a lot to do with love as well, and spreading that love, and but mostly it's about this balance inside between the masculine and feminine energies, and to start to embody that. Maybe for you might be good to do a check, right? Just think about that and read about it a little bit. Maybe are you maybe not balanced with your feminine energy, or are you too much in your masculine energy as a woman? Is this masculine energy then balanced, empowered, or not? And yeah, very important, to be to well, work with that if need be, and you will know yourself uh, if you need work with that or not. And that is so important with panda, because pandas, when they are born, they're tiny and utterly helpless, and they're blind, so their mother has to really take care of them, and they have very strong maternal instinct, so feminine energy. But if need be, they also have a very, when threatened or whatever, they also have a very, very strong masculine energy, right? And so they have that as well. That's why that message comes up with this card. But it's also a hell of a lot to do with love. And it's also, if you flow, because you have your inner masculine and feminine energies balanced, then life flows much easier. It is easier to open your heart then, and to spread love, and to attract love. And because if you are open and have a very high vibration, like attracts like, it will come to you as well. So it's really it's a beautiful process. I will not get into that any further, because then we get a very lengthy reading. It's just my topic, really. I love that stuff. And yeah, your next card, we're going to again these colors, right? The same colors again. That yellow, orange, and now also pink. But we had a bit of pink here too. Right, so, and we see that pink here as well. Now I'm looking, there we are, because I had for you 2 cards from this deck came out. And that's this one. So we have Be Magnetized and Fine Tune. Again, these warm, bright colors with the fine tune. Very, very high energy for this group. Absolutely beautiful. Magnetized is saying that the energy of attraction is what propels and perpetuates your growth and expansion. And like I said, it's like attracts like, right? So the higher your vibration, the purer, the more love it holds, the more good stuff you get, and the more opportunities that are in tune with that high energy and vibration as well will also come to you. And that can be people, lovers, or a lover, right? Jobs, whatever. It can just be anything, and it can also it's also helpful for your health, to attract money, success, and so on and so forth. It's kind of like a perpetual thing then, that gets, that is set in motion once you get there. So it might be really helpful to look at what attracts you, what has your attention. And especially if you don't really know yet, then just feel in your body as well, like what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what are you just drawn to, maybe different kind of people, or relationships, or a hobby, interest, projects, a book, whatever. It can be anything. So think broad here, right? And then do that. Go for that. Follow it. Because then you will get your if you follow your intuition, if you listen to your intuition, things will start to happen. Things will start to grow, and you will become magnetized. And then you attract all these things, right? What I just said, it will become easier. And even if you can't really fathom what it will eventually bring you, what good is it gonna do me if I do that workshop that I really want to do? You know, maybe it's just a waste of money, maybe it costs this, that much, maybe I shouldn't do that. Don't think like that. If you feel cold, pulled, and your heart starts to really fill with joy, if you think about it, go for it, right? You will find out later why you had to do that, and just by doing that, you will stay in tune with this intuition, with that law of attraction. And maybe, if need be, occasionally fine tune, because as long as we live, we have to fine tune, regularly, occasionally, depending on where you are on your path. So that means as much as looking at what is in your life. What are you doing? How are you behaving, thinking, feeling? How are you taking care of yourself, both your mental, emotional self, as well as your physical self? Maybe you should improve things a bit, you know? Maybe you are eating stuff that actually isn't so healthy, and you know that, but yeah, it's become a bit of a habit, and blah, blah, blah. Know the story, then fine tune, and so otherwise you might lose this really high vibration, because you do have you either already have that high vibration because it comes up with the panda and the bee as well, or you're about to be in that very high vibration. You're very close to it. Everyone has that potential, but you are very close to it, otherwise these cards would not come up. Now we're going to look at your last two cards. Right, these last two cards is more what you are doing that hinders this finding more joy and happiness in life, your key, right? And we have teacher and engineer. Now, with the teacher, these cards, as you can see, always have a light and a shadow attribute. You have the ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. So you could be a teacher, and that doesn't mean you have to start classes or anything. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. You can also be a teacher when you talk to friends, right? And or family, or your children, or like that. So it doesn't have to be in a student teacher setting, workshops or school or whatever. It doesn't have to be that way at all. But make sure, like here we see the shadow attribute. It might not be completely applicable on your situation, on you, the way it's phrased there. What I actually feel more from this is, make sure you are not teaching the wrong thing. So, what was that card now? I already put it on the other side of the table. That goes back for me to this, the message, part of the message from this card, to follow what feels good to you, where your heart is. So don't start teaching stuff or telling stuff that actually isn't really, when your heart isn't in it, or subjects or things that really don't do it for you, because that will lower your vibration. And I'm now suddenly thinking this could mean that you might have to look for a different job, maybe different profession or something. I don't know. That won't always be possible, of course, for everyone to just do that. And maybe that might not be for everyone, all right? It might just be for a few. But if it could be that, as an example, I can use it as an example. If you're working a certain job, let's say you're working as a bookkeeper, I don't know, and your heart isn't in that at all. and actually you want to be an inspirational speaker. I'm just taking an example here, all right? Don't take it personally if you are a bookkeeper, because it can also be the other way around. Then if you keep working as a bookkeeper, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to get to your key to happiness and joy in life, because you're working, doing something that doesn't make you happy. That isn't really you. Your heart and soul isn't in it. Your heart and soul wants to do something else. That's what I'm trying to say here. And then we have Angelina, and in a way, I'm sorting around with these reading glasses. Ability. I'm sorry, I have to take it out. That's the problem when you get a bit older. You do need reading glasses at some point. Because I had a thing come up, but I have to read it. And yeah, I know it again. I'm again not taking the messages on the card literally. If you feel like doing that, feel free to do it, because it might resonate with you. So read it if you want. What I actually feel with this is that you are inclined to use wisdom, knowledge, techniques that you have seen or learned from other people, but that aren't truly yours. And if that resonates, it's like, do your own thing. You might bounce off of other people's work. Everyone has to get their wisdom and stuff from somewhere, right? So that's okay, but maybe if you do it the exact way that person did it, maybe that doesn't suit you so well. Maybe you should do it slightly differently, your own way, and then do that. Dare to do that. Right? Don't think like, yes, but okay, I have to, because it's part of the method I've learned that is possible, right? Or you may be afraid, you lack the confidence to do it, but what if I change it, and oh my God, and all that stuff. But still, then do it. Do whatever it is you wish to do your own way, even if you take wisdom and knowledge from other people, or maybe from a learned method, way of doing things that might not be the way you want to use it, that you want to present it or work with. So feel free to let go of the set parameters. Yeah, that. All right, I hope that resonates. And in a way, I'm doing that here as well, actually, because there's information on these cards, and I'm actually not using that information verbatim. I'm also doing my own thing, just my intuition. I listen to my intuition. It's a similar thing, really, right? So dare do that, and remember that you do have this wonderful energy, or you either already have that, or you are very, very close to having that. So finding your key to happiness and joy shouldn't really be all that difficult. So I hope it's helpful. I hope it resonates, and it's actually beautiful that we had this carnelian for you as well. And I choose this before I start doing the reading, just intuitively as well. But it's also beautiful orange. Anyhow, thanks for listening and watching. Hope it's helpful, and see you again soon. Bye.